Varun Dua is CEO and founder of ACKO Insurance. Varun, your first thoughts of the budget. You heard Janma JJ, you've got a broader perspective on your industry and overall. Varun, hi.
Thank you for having me. I think the panelists, I was hearing the panelists as over the last 5 minutes. I think it's a very, very balanced budget. I think, growing at 7-8% without printing money, without increasing debt, it's like you rightly said, it's a huge tightrope walk. I think we're getting it right. From my vantage point, when we look at raising capital from whether it's foreign capital or Indian capital, especially when we're looking at foreign capital, with steps like these or numbers like these in the long run, that country risk factor, sort of keeps coming down, and which sort of eases the flow of capital to companies like us or the ecosystem overall. Maybe one point before I hand it over back to you to speak to Mr. Kant is that from the insurance standpoint, I still have one specific area. I think it was on your show last evening also, that we still continue to charge Indian citizens almost sin tax on insurance from a GST standpoint, and that I don't think is good for the citizens who continue to fall under financial stress in case of mishaps. And more importantly, I think the government also should, globally, insurance companies are the largest suppliers of some form of capital to the government in terms of the treasury that they invest in government projects and government securities. So maybe that's the only sore point. I haven't looked at the detailed note. Maybe it's there somewhere, but at least I didn't find a mention. Overall, very happy with where the budget is.
Absolutely. I think the one point that is now coming across, you made it as well, Varun, is that it is going to be easier to attract foreign capital because our country indicators are very solid. So thank you very much, Varun. So, Bhaskar, sitting in London, were you also clapping with that? Because that's,
No, absolutely, and we can very shortly. I can see the ratings agencies going for an upgrade on the bond ratings, and as Mr. Sinha rightly said, once that sort of happens, there'll be a natural inflow of capital at a reduced cost. And I think the government this time has stuck to the macro. Yes, they could have been tinkering, and in the short term, people would have been much happier. But they have stuck to the overall directional macro of playing the fiscal hawk.
It's always a question of you have to admire the Prime Minister for that. These things, PK, don't happen. Obviously, Prime Minister is saying to the country, I am unmoved by the numbers of the election. I'm going to keep doing what I do. I've got target 2030. I've not got target 2024 October. He's still, it's admirable, PK. PM, Prime Minister is keeping his politics and policy aside. This is, I think it's political courage. This is political courage by the Prime Minister.